Hey guys, welcome back to Average Dad's Garage. Yes, I've changed the name. I'm no longer Speedy Canuck, I'm Average Dad's Garage, and I just feel the name is more suited to who I am and what I'm about. You know, I'm not the only guy out there trying to build a project, and you know, I've got a bunch of kids running around. You know, I've got 3 hanging out over there. You know, I'm out here with a baby monitor. I got another one in bed right now. And you know, I just come out here when I can and slowly pick away on stuff like this. So if it seems like it takes me a while to get a project done, well, you know, you have to understand I do have other obligations, aspirations, and desires. And you know, my family, you know, I want to spend time with them too. So, you know, days like today where I can just work here with the garage door open, I can hear the kids out there and they'll wander in and out of here, and that's what I like. So that being said, we're gonna do some work on this today. I would like to get the seats mocked up, mounted. I would like to get the steering column set in place as well. And once the steering column's in place, we can finish the steering shaft down to the steering box. But I need to see how this thing's gonna fit. I need to see how I'm gonna fit in it. The 1946 room didn't seem to be a priority when they built these trucks. This is a very small cab. I'm a little over 6 feet tall. I'm a little heavier than I used to be. And it's gonna be a tight fit. So we need to utilize space where we can, give myself as much room as possible. And originally this truck came with just a small bench seat. So now we're gonna go to buckets, I guess you can say. And these are the 55 series Kirkey seats. This is a 17-inch wide seat on this side, and I bought an 18-inch wide for that side. I'm not a little dude, but I've got buddies that are bigger than me. So I figure if anyone's gonna be riding along with me, I'd go one size bigger for the passenger seat. That way, you know, if a buddy of mine wants to hop in with me, he's not capable of not fitting in there. He's gonna be able to fit in there. But yeah, me being 130 pounds, 230 pounds, and a little over 6 feet, the 17-inch wide Kirkey fits me just fine. And I will be buying the padded inserts for these as well. Right now I just have them sitting on blocks of wood to try and get the height down. Now, my head, when I'm sitting in the seat, is about 1 inch lower than the top of the seat. So I do have room from the top of my head to the main hoop. And I kind of like sitting up higher in vehicles. I know a lot of guys like to, like, when they drive their personal cars, they lean right back. You'll see a lot of tractor trailer drivers that, you know, do up their trucks. For some reason, they like to sit on the floor. They air their seats all the way out. I don't like that. I like to be able to see over the end of my hood. You know, that's just me. And the higher I'm up, I feel like I'm not gonna have sun visors in here or anything like that. So it's almost like I'm bringing, it's almost like this is acting like my sun visor if I'm sitting up higher. But yeah, that's where I may play with this. I may take this board out and drop it back down. I did have it at that height, same as that side. That side sitting 1.5 inches lower than this side. So I'm going to grab my steering column now and we'll see how that fits. For my steering, I am using, this is the Motion Racework DIY steering column. You know, it comes already assembled like that. And this guy, it has the removable steering wheel hub. Right, that's their new one. So it only goes on one way. So when you clip your steering wheel on, you can't clip it on in any other orientation than the one, because it's a one fit shape. So it's going to go on the way it's supposed to go on every single time. I also got a steering wheel from Motion. Just a simple Grant steering wheel. I also got, you know, buttons and stuff as well. I'm not going to put those on right now. Now, this guy, if I want to bolt the wheel right to the hub, it's a 5 and a 6 bolt pattern on there. This is a 5 bolt steering wheel, but it's got this adapter on the back for if you have, I think it's like, you know, most cars anyway, factory, if you had a factory steering column that just has a nut in the middle, you can use this. These 3 bolts won't, I don't think they're going to work on this guy. I don't see how they would. Now I could probably drill out 5 or 6 holes here and mount this. I think what I would like to do is ditch this, and if I need to, I'll just get I can get a spacer that goes between the hub and the steering wheel. You can get like 3 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch, whatever, if I need the added space. But for mock-up purposes, I'm just going to leave this on there because I feel like I might need an extension. So I'm just going to use this as a temporary extension for now. And we'll just see how everything fits. So I got those 2 items. This will roll around too much. Aside from that, I had to pick up 2 U-joints. This U-joint, if you're using a Vega steering box like this, you need a U-joint like this guy. I think that's a 36 spline. Yeah. If the camera will focus. 36 spline. 5/8. So it's got 36 splines on the one end, and you can either do like a 3/4 inch, or you know, you can go up to 1 inch, whatever, smooth, or you can get the D style, which is basically like a piece of round bar with a flat side to it, or 2 flat sides. I just did the 3/4 inch round, so you know this will fit in there. I just went down to Metal Supermarkets and bought a piece, just a length of 3/4 inch 120 wall, and then another U-joint with two round 3/4 inch ends on it. Both of these things, I bought both of these off Amazon. Hopefully that's not a mistake. But some of these things are like $100. It was significantly cheaper to get it off Amazon. Might not be one of those places that I wanted to cheap out, but you know, to spend $200 just on 2 U-joints, these things still feel solid though. I think they'll be all right. Okay, I'm gonna take all this. I'm gonna park myself in that seat, and we'll see how this steering column sits. Okay, I've taped the lower U-joint to the end of the steering column. I've got a pair of vice grips holding it here, and my inside mount holding it there. That's the depth in that I wanted at to make the angle down there work. And it doesn't look like a bad length up here. So I'm gonna jump in with the steering wheel and we'll see how far off we are. I actually don't mind that in the slightest. I almost feel like maybe if it was if it had a small spacer to bring it up a little bit more. And the only reason I want to bring it up a little bit more is because my dash that I bought the a Holley digital dash. It's going to sit right in this pocket. And right now the steering wheel blocks a good portion of it, but the further out I bring it, the more the dash I can see. So just to be able to see my screen better, I might want, even if I space out an inch, that opens up quite a bit more of that area for me. Now I'm going to move on to my steering linkage. I recommend buying a little bit more than what you need in case you screw this up. It might take you more than one shot. I cut a piece off roughly the length I think I need, and all I'm going to do, I'm just going to tape it together for now before I weld it. That way if it's not correct, I can easily slide out and fix it. So I got a lot of tape holding stuff together, but I think I'm in a good spot. I had to move this end of the steering column over more because I realized I was not straight. I had the whole column on a bit of an angle like this. The bottom was about 3/4 of an inch over from what the top was. So now I'm in line with the frame, and I even notched a little bit out of the floor up here just to set it up higher. Hi. Did you have a good nap? No. No? Okay. Yeah. I think I'm at a point where I can tack stuff together. I can't check right now to see if anything binds up, just because, I mean, it's just taped together. So, but my lengths and clearances all look good. So I'm going to pull it apart, throw some tacks on it, slide it back together, and then turn the wheel, and we'll see if it binds or locks in any spots. I should be able to go all the way from lock to lock without it getting any kind of hard spots. If I have hard spots, that means I've got too sharp of an angle on my U-joints, and I'll have to change direction somehow. I do have like right now I'm so close to the bottom of this engine mount down here, I can cut a little bit more of it off and bring this up higher to take less of an angle out of this joint right here. This is almost straight. I'm not worried about that one. This guy here though, I don't know how much angle I have left in it. I don't know, that light doesn't help much, but yeah, we'll have to get some tacks on it and find out. Now with it only tacked together, I've got it slid all back in place. I've got a C-clamp holding it right where I want it. And I had to jack up the front end and take it off the wooden blocks because it's going to make it very hard to turn the wheel and get a good feel if there's any hard spots with it still sitting on those. And I don't have the wheel bolted to it, so I mean if I can do it on just the hub here freehand, it should be good with the wheel on it. So we'll just give her a turn. I don't feel any hard spots yet. That's all the way to full right lock. and that's all the way to left lock. I didn't feel any hard spots, so that's good. And I like how everything's sitting. So I am good with that. And I only put 3 tacks on each spot. That was strong enough to hold it. And I mean, it didn't have much resistance against it because the wheels aren't on the ground. But everything looks good. I'm gonna pull it back out, weld it in final. And then I think I am going to, I know it looks a little janky. I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna use this mount. And for down here, I'm just gonna make a plate that goes around that I'm gonna weld to the tubing that will bolt to the floor. So that's how I'm gonna mount the bottom. Now this is the part where I show you where I screwed up. My plan, I made up this plate. My plan was to slide the plate up over the shaft, weld it to the shaft, and it was gonna bolt in place right around there. It covers up this hole, like seals it off, and it mounts this securely to the floor. Where I screwed up was I already welded the U-joint onto the end of it, because you can take off this clamp and slide, like you can take the clamp off and then you can slide this right up and over. But now that I got that welded on, I'm euchred. So I got a little ahead of myself, and now I have to do what I didn't want to do, which is cut this thing in half and basically clamshell it around the shaft. So I gotta slice it, sandwich it, weld it back together. Alright, after weld everything together, it is officially mounted. What I ended up doing was I marked my holes in the floor, pulled the column back out, drilled my holes, and I decided to use Rivnuts. If you don't know what that is, basically it looks like a riveting gun. And you get guys like this, right? It's just, this is actually an aluminum one. And these are metric. The kit I got happened to be metric. And the only metric bolts I had was miscellaneous LS bolts. And this is the same thread as exhaust bolts for LS exhaust manifolds. So that is what I used here. I'm gonna cut them down. I don't like how far they stick out, but they're super easy to use, and you can see how they crimp to whatever sheet metal you're putting them in. Super easy. You drop them in, you crush them. You don't have to worry about putting a nut on the backside. So the steering column is officially mounted. I do have to tidy this thing up. I may try and find a newer one or work this one and make it tighter because it is a little loose. It's supposed to have rubber in there, but the rubber's killed. So I may just try and work on getting some kind of a piece of rubber for it. But that's it for the column. Very nice. Next, we move on to mounting the seats. All right, I've been picking away at this seat mount for about a week now, and I'll show you what I threw together. I made myself just basically a big rectangle, spaced up off the floor, the same distance as the 2x4s I had, and I just used 1.25 inch square tubing. That's 1/16 wall, and then some 1.25 inch angle iron that's 1/8 thick. And I tigged everything together, even to the floor. Basically, I feel like I've had my welding helmet on for about 3 hours doing this. It's a lot of welding. The MIG would have been faster, but it wouldn't have been as clean. And you know, I want to try and make this truck as nice as possible. So I took the time, I tigged it all, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. So I'm going to now toss those seats in, and hopefully I didn't screw this up. Voila! We have seats. They are mounted and they fit. Now, I did make one small boo-boo. It was actually quite hard. I had to drill these holes into the side of the seat to mount the mounting plate I ordered with the Kirkeys. They don't really tell you where to drill them, just kind of, you know, find a spot. So that's what I did. And I tried to hit the same spot on the other seat, but I was off by a bit, and it was enough where I had to space the seat off the frame in order to get the same pitch to the back, because this seat was sitting forward compared to that one, but they're both using the top hole, so I can't lean it back anymore. So I had to, unfortunately, space the front of this seat just so they're leaning the same, but that's not a big deal. You can't be perfect all the time, but it's in and it looks good. Now, one last thing I want to do to wrap up this part of the project is finish the spacer for the steering wheel, and I finally got in my my flanges from Summit. This is for a 5-bolt pattern, which is what this steering wheel is. And I mean, the hub here is a 5 or 6 bolt flange. So I got the 5-bolt, and I've got some 1.25 inch. So I'm going to chop out a piece. We're going to get it welded in and get this all done. Now, you can buy these spacers, they're pretty widely available, different lengths and stuff, and you're probably going to pay 50 bucks or so. These flanges were only like $18, and I already had the pipe, so it really wasn't difficult, and I basically got the same result. That looks just as nice as anything that you can order. So hopefully I got my length correct. We're going to throw it in, and that should finish off the inside of the truck for now. Moment of truth. As you can see, I can see most of this area perfect. You know, as you can see, there's gonna be some padding on this bar, but I've got a couple inches between myself and the main hoop. But I think this will work. I mean, it's gonna have to work. I welded everything solid, so it's done. But I'm happy. I'm happy. This took a while. The seating is what took the longest. The seats I had to take in and out, play with my spacing, move the seats from side to side, front to back. It took a while to get all my measurements down. I still do have to do some kind of a tie-in with the back of the seat and the rear bar. I do, because I have to bolt this to the bar. So I gotta quickly make up something for that, but other than that, it's steering wheel and seating is pretty much finished. So pick up some bolts for this sucker. That'll do it for this video. Next, we're gonna move on to the box area. Lots going on back there. I'm happy to get this kind of taken care of. Some of these things can be a little daunting. It's nice when you can strike it off your list of things to do. But next is this whole area. But we'll see you next time.